I'm super excited about our guest today, Michelle Hendrix, out in Austin, Texas. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. So, Michelle is really the master of reinvention and standing out in one of the most popular real estate markets in the country right now, Austin, Texas. Worked with her for years, so I'm so happy that we're finally hopping on. So Michelle, for anyone who doesn't know you, give us a quick breakdown of how you got started in real estate and kind of where your business is today.
Oh gosh. Okay. So I got started in real estate, what feels like a bazillion years ago, 23 to be exact, in Santa Barbara. Southern California, also a very competitive market. And I got started in the luxury space in Montecito. And I moved to Austin. I linked up with some of the most dynamic people here to sort of relearn everything. And I went out on my own finally in Austin in 2012. And then I've just been sort of getting after it every single day ever since, every single day.
You really are. I didn't realize that you started in California, actually. Yeah. So you did go from one like high-end competitive market into more of like a trendy competitive market.
Yeah. Well, in Southern California has more extreme highs and lows as it responds to just the market in general. And Austin is just, with the exception of what Austin's been like on the other side of the pandemic, Austin's pretty evenly keeled. It's certainly been a little different the last couple of years, but it feels really like it's strengthening again.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I have been hearing that across the board, which is great. Everybody's kind of getting ready for this like big onslaught of things happening again.
Mm-hmm.
So you, I would say, are a HomeStack OG. I feel like you have had your Austin Homes for Sale app maybe 6 or 7 years at this point. It's been a while.
Yeah, like I think maybe 2017 is when I got it.
Yeah. And I feel like you kind of knew mobile was where the industry was headed. Even back then, everybody's on their phones all the time, and you seem to have good instincts for that.
Oh.
How has your app helped you to kind of differentiate yourself over the years and win more business over some of your competitors who were lagging behind a little bit in this space?
Well, I think that the app has helped me sort of stay out ahead in a way that supports just the way that I intend to do business, and grabbing onto something like the HomeStack app when I did felt like the right thing to do, because I try to really keep my blinders on when it comes to competition, frankly. If I know I'm doing what's best and staying clearly in tune with my business and what I want it to look like, then I'm going to react to however the outside factors react to what I'm doing. So I really try really hard not to let what people are doing, beside me or ahead of me too much. And this was one of those choices where I just knew that if I got in early and I could get something like Austin Homes for Sale, that was a no-brainer, because I would always have that. I mean, other people have, the Smith Property Group, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I chose to jump on this in the very beginning because I was able to grab something that wasn't branded and I could keep specific and generic, and I have turned it into this hyper local home search, which I think when people are looking in Austin, they want a hyper local expert. And I'm condensing my boundaries even more lately, but I've used it in so many different ways, and I've been able to leverage it the way that it is generic, because people are less afraid to log on to or join Austin Homes for Sale than they are something that's like, oh, this is someone's real estate group. Someone's going to call me any minute.
Yeah, because you've used it at like a macro scale, right? You're like, you've taken out ads and you've put it on your social media and you've used it in like a relocation guide. So you feel that that makes it like less intimidating for somebody to download, I guess, in that regard?
I'll have to send you, yes, 1,000%. And it's a pretty penny to pop this thing into the Austin relocation guide. But guess what? It costs about the same amount as the app. And I have vendors that pay for the app. So whoever my featured lenders are, and I don't have a lot of vendors. I mean, literally, it's usually just me teamed up with a lender. But so that way I can allocate those funds over to something like the Relo guide. And I chose premium placement in that guide that I maybe wouldn't have chosen if it was just an ad about, the Hendrix residential group. This is a free offer of value with, jam-packed with information that people might have to scour all over the internet to get. And that being able to add the insights and truly market this as a hyper local home search and lifestyle guide is how I've leveraged it and what has, I think, given me the most success. And there's a lot of opportunities for conversion just conversationally, like at open houses around that, but not to go on too much of a tangent.
Yeah. And didn't you get like one of your highest sales from that ad? I remember you saying, or one of them.
I certainly have had some leads that are my highest sale to date came from my network, but I am sure that now that I've had this tool for as long as I have, I could go in there and differentiate who originated on the app. But I have converted more business and brought more value, not just to consumers that are interested in Austin or that I get to interact with, but to other agents. So again, when an agent is looking to be on a team, they may not want to offer to their clients or their potential clients, friends, colleagues, whoever. They may not want to put them on the Johnson Real Estate Group app, or so again, I've leaned really hard into having this generic available free tool, and I'm just so glad that I did get in early and that I do have that opportunity, or I maintain that opportunity to have Austin homes for sale. I mean, I feel like I got lucky.
Great app name. Yeah, I don't know if you'd get that now. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. And again, nothing wrong with having you're working with me and it's the Michelle Real Estate app, but I have found that it is so much more approachable. And I love that I can add my agents to the app and they can use it freely as a very valuable tool that isn't branded with my name. Like they can really take ownership over that, own their leads in the back end, affiliate with any lender that they want. And that empowers them without putting my name across everything. And I'm really into empowering the solo or the would want to be someday solo agent. And this is a really great tool to launch them with, not just to build their database, but to bring continued value and touches, really consistent touches to the people that they're adding to their database in their entire SOI without my name on it.
Yeah. So it is good for that recruitment. And also I think to like empower them to feel like they can just take the ball and run with it with the tools. Cause it can be overwhelming too. Sometimes when you're new and you're starting out, you're like, what tools do I even need? So it is nice to kind of be like, here you go, this is good. But again, it's not like my face all over it or my name all over it. Like
and that just felt really clear to me. So it's just, we just keep expanding on it. And I've got new strategy, as you know, that I want to implement. And I don't know if this is a timely place to bring this in, but I have not experienced customer service like HomeStack has given me specifically with you. And every other thing that I've ever worked with, I've of course bounced around between, reps and support. And we've been working together specifically. Robert helped me sign up, and then you've helped me from day one. And that is the biggest comfort to me. HomeStack would literally, if I had to scale my budget down to nothing, HomeStack would be the last man standing on my tech.
That's awesome. That is awesome to hear. I mean, we really pride ourselves on that, and we really try to give, the best customer service we can. And I think something that I can stand by at this company is like, we take the feedback that agents and brokers and teams are really using in the field, and we do turn it into results in the technology. And I don't know if every tech company can say that, especially in real estate tech.
No, very, very few. And I've been in long enough to attest to that, I would say.
Yes. Well, thank you. So what are some of the challenges that you faced in the real estate industry over the past couple of years that tech has kind of helped you to solve, especially really recently with all the AI stuff?
Some of the challenges that I've experienced lately that tech, specifically HomeStack, have helped me solve is just that the constant contact. How do you, anyone can set their client up on an MLS search, but I can't create something that is, here's my top 10 of the week. Or if I were to go to open houses this weekend, these are the ones I would hit in this price point. Like being able to hit people with those emails directly, or text messages rather, directly from the app is, it's just really valuable. And you can pretty much do it from a stoplight. And if you're a busy real estate agent, you're doing most of your work from a stoplight.
Yes, you wouldn't believe the amount of meetings that I have with realtors in their car. Like, I think while eating, while on the phone, while I'm like, is this safe? But, it's part of the lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comes with the territory. So I know you were previously with Compass. Now you're with eXp, and realtors tend to switch brokerages quite often. It's very par for the course. What is your advice to realtors about not kind of putting your entire network and everything that you have into that brokerage's tools, and having your own proprietary app and your own proprietary CRM, and really having those own tools that you own?
Well, having my own tools, and really securing autonomy in this business is critical. And I wish so badly that someone would have taught me that, but that would have come from a mentor, right? No broker is going to say, do all the things, brand everything to yourself, get everything outside of our platform so you never have to make one of these painful moves again. They're never going to tell you that. And, I was with Realty Austin, incredible. Like, I got really lucky to be with a company that was so tech driven right out of the gate in Austin. And Compass has wonderful tools, but each time, being someone who I'm a consumer facing, boots on the ground girl, I am not back of office admin girl by any stretch. So having to go through these moves with my messy database, however it extracted each time, was really painful. And the only one that was always intact was this one from HomeStack, from my app, because it was the first tool that I chose to be autonomous. And maybe that's where the drive to keep it generic came from, because somehow I just knew that I wanted it to be bigger and better for other people too. And I knew it would be approachable.
Growth mindset, right? You had the growth mindset there.
Yeah. You got to take yourself out of it to some degree, because at the end of the day, we're in a consumer facing business, and I want whatever tech that's going to keep me close to the client without seeming overwhelming, and or what's the word, like, without seeming too
too salesy. for
Yeah,
sure.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, opportunistic. I just
Icky,
want,
icky.
yeah, I just want to bring value all the time. And I want to be, I want to help people not just secure a, a wonderful property and investment. I want them to have a resource for, babysitters, the best people to consult with to decide what school's right for their family. I mean, you can't do that on Zillow. You can't go on Zillow and say, where do I go to figure out what Montessori aligns with my family best?
Yes, yes. So something that, if you're kind of new to learning about building a HomeStack app, is that you can really take it beyond the home search. You can
Mm-hmm.
put in a totally customized section where you're building out like neighborhood guides, where you're putting in the best of the best, where it's kind of like it's not just a home search tool, but it can be a hyper localized guide in the palm of people's hands, right? It's like,
How do
okay,
you,
so
yeah,
people
how
have
do,
that on their website, but like, who's going on websites anymore?
right. I mean, and especially, and I sort of diverted, but having, that was the first time I chose something that was outside of my brokerage, was to grab onto something that was totally mine, that I would never ever have to part with or adjust. I guess we have to change the branding, but that takes literally 2 seconds to add our new broker or what have you. And technology is moving so quickly, and HomeStack's accessibility, response time, just the way that y'all will react to our needs as it relates to, I mean, we're in a new time of technology every day. Once a day, there was something else that we need to be able to implement. And y'all are just always right there responding to, I don't know how many, I know probably some of my requests are a little crazy, and I have this big idea and I have to do it now. And you're like, okay, well, let's figure that out. And that's grabbing onto that to start being autonomous in that way made it really clear for me when I'm leaving. Like it gave me the confidence to move from Compass's one login to Growth Suite on Go High Level. So I maybe wouldn't have gone from, I left the broker tool where they have all their stuff and it's so valuable and easy to use, to something outside of that. But now that I've done that, and the fact that HomeStack is willing to align with and make sure that they're talking to each other as they should be, I'm officially, as of, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, with Growth Suite on Go High Level and HomeStack and my new website. We just rebranded and we're doing some other things, but I am officially not tied to anyone. Although unfortunately, it took me getting to eXp, which is where I'll never leave.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
So
make a bet with you that I'll never leave.
tell us a little bit about why eXp. We have a lot of agents that come to us from eXp because I think they are tech forward and they maybe encourage a little bit more autonomy to have your own tools and kind of see what happens, and I feel like they do give you like a little bit more of like a breathing room to grow.
Well, you nailed it. So why eXp? And this is why I think it aligns so well with HomeStack and where I've always been going and how I've wanted to evolve, because ultimately we just want more time with our family, right? We just want more time with our friends. We don't want to just be doing real estate. And I heard something that was really powerful, and it's like, how many real estate retirement parties have you been to? Like the answer is 0. Because no one ever like properly and like with finality retires from real estate. And someone was joking and said, they're not retirement parties, they're funerals. Well, people that are going really hard in this business can and might work forever. I don't know, but there's not a big retirement plan around that. But if you align with the right technology and in this world scale and grow and stay in a growth mindset rather than, I think it's the scarcity mindset that makes people recoil at the thought of a cloud-based brokerage. I remained open to every opportunity. And while it took me a little time to get into it, I had to be with best tech-driven, the best tech-driven brokerage that I had access to, and that's eXp. But they're a lot like you, Rachel, and maybe HomeStack in general. They're accessible. They listen to feedback. They make adjustments, and every adjustment that they make will hands down always be for the benefit of the agent, because that's their first customer.
Yeah.
So my app fits right into that, just that overall mentality. And I think that's where in attraction or recruiting or whatever, I have a very small team right now, not as big as I did at one point, but that it's the growth mindset. Like I don't want to have a team again. I want to have a launch pad. I've gone from wanting to have a team, which the team structure benefits the team lead the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to have a launch pad. I just want to have a place where we can have more autonomy, like the tool that is my Austin Homes for Sale app, that they don't have to be scared to use because it doesn't say my name all over it. That will benefit them. It does bring value. They will have more conversations. You can have more confidently and start more conversations in an awkward open house, because they're awkward. Like open houses are awkward, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, but you got to have the music going. You got to have the vibe just right. And some people just miss that entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
it can still be teed up beautifully. And it's still like, oh, okay, now you're a stranger. But it's really easy to say to a stranger, are you a Zillow person? Where do you search for your houses? How many calls have you gotten from randos since you've been searching on that Zillow app? Or whatever, Zillow, Redfin, any broker site. How many unsolicited calls have you gotten? And were you able to look up whatever, the best schools, public, private, or otherwise for your family? Oh, you like the lake life? Do any of those apps tell you the best place to drop in on Lake Travis, where the public entry is for those lakes? No. Zillow's not going to tell you how to live your life or give you ideas. Well, maybe they will at some point, but they're not going to give you lifestyle value. And I think that when someone's at an open house, a younger agent or someone that's less extroverted than I am can say, where are you searching for your houses? Are you getting additional information about this town, whatever, insert Austin or wherever someone's using it? Is it all in one? Are you getting a lifestyle guide along with your home search? And the answer is no.
Yeah. And then here's my app. Da-da.
Yeah. By the way, no randos are going to call you. And then I have an email that goes out that says, you have free and full access to the entire MLS. We can help you with, with getting situated, but we don't want to do that until you're ready. And oh, by the way, there's a lender here. They'll help you the same way, and they won't be pushy. And you've got an entire team of experts, hyper-local experts behind this hyper-local app that are at your fingertips now, and you will not get random calls from people who may not even know what they're doing, may have never shown a property in that area where you're requesting to see a property. But
that is crazy. Yeah. We actually have a new open house mode coming out too, where you can sign somebody up at your open house, and then it goes into your dashboard and tags them with that address. And then it starts to send them any information about that open house, like if there's a price change or a status change or anything like that. It sends the customer updates on that too.
That's amazing. And wouldn't it be so great if it could automate a search based on similar criteria and just have that be their search?
I think that's coming.
And this is why I'll never leave.
I know.
Because y'all are evolving. I could look at 1,000 different things that I've used over the last 2 decades that, I mean, maybe they're still around. Why, I don't need to know what I don't know, but because they get stagnant, and a tool like this can't get stagnant, and it has to provide value. And I bet it's not easy to keep in the flow with technological advances these days.
It's definitely constant, especially in the past like year. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is like you said, like every day changing. It's crazy. It is crazy. So what is like one of your like best client connection stories from the app? I'm sure there's been a lot, but if you have like one that comes to mind that's just kind of cool or interesting.
So this would be like my most interesting client conversion that I've ever had from the app would be just very recently, how quickly, and I obviously have my push notifications on. I got the notification that she was not only signed up, so I knew that she was working in the app and she got the introductory and the drip or whatever, but she was on the app. I texted her right away. I reminded her that I'm Michelle from Austin Homes for Sale. And if you find anything while you're scrolling today, here's my direct cell, because my direct cell is not on it's my Google number.
Yeah.
So that was probably the first time that I did it that way. If you're scrolling today and you need anything, here's my direct cell.
Yeah.
So now I've just gone from, I'm a person in a cubicle behind a tool to I'm Michelle, the hyper-local expert, and now you have my cell. If you need me, you send up a flare.
Yeah.
And she responded immediately. We had a buyer appointment the next day. We've been out to look at property. She is here to work. She's relocating to move for a very large, very well-known company that's expanding a great deal. And I would suspect that she's in a position to be one of my very best referral clients. And when we did go out to look at property, she's a real person with the real ability to buy a house. And and she was lovely. And I don't want to, people that are like you. I won't align with everybody, and it's okay. But this was a very recent instance where not only do I have a really cool new client, and in real estate, like, who knows, maybe we'll be friends, but, and I love that part, but I've got a ready, willing, and able buyer that didn't feel like she was being attacked by a stranger. She raised her hand when she needed help. I was paying attention when the time was right. I connected quickly because they're on there. They're thinking real estate. It's time to connect, or else, don't be mad when you don't convert. And she's just a wonderful person. And I don't care if it's a $200,000 lead or a $3 million lead. In fact, I like to live sort of somewhere in the middle if I had my choice. But that's a human being on the other end that wants help, and I get to be in the unique and I'm grateful for the position to be in a situation where I get to give them value through my app before they get to know me. So once we do get face-to-face or on a call, they know that I am who I say I am, and we are the people that put the tools into our hyper-local app. And so that information is not only information that we put in there, or opinions of the best coffee and our favorite happy hour. And, if they need a connection directly with one of my plumbers, I'm going to connect them in a text. I'm going to introduce them. My plumber is going to know that this person came from my net. Like it's not like we're not the yellow pages. But then we're always updating that.
Yeah. It's like the good housekeeping seal of approval, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, well, but it is, because it's like, this person now doesn't have to go on Google for 3 hours and read random strangers' reviews, because they know you and they trust you. And they're like, oh, okay, Michelle's already worked with this person on several projects. It's in her app. And if she's putting it in her app, then it's probably a pretty vetted plumber or electrician or whomever, because you're not going to put somebody in there that you don't trust.
Right. And you always have to, just for anyone that's listening, just make sure that you're doing it with the right CYA language, because all of these trades are only as good as the last job. I have, decades, not decades, but I've, been working with some of these people for 10, 11, 12 years. And you can't take responsibility for them. So I recommend that you have some language that is that, these are my highest and best recommendations. And, but we still recommend that you vet them and get any referral information.
No, yeah, that's good. Always put the fine print in.
Yeah. I mean, I can barely control my kids. How am I going to control the vendor list?
Just hanging on here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, all right, last little thing. And I know you've covered this in a little bit of bits and pieces, but why HomeStack? Why should somebody come to HomeStack to build them their, custom white label app?
Why HomeStack? Well, the reason I think it's a no-brainer that someone should go to HomeStack to build their app is because of, first and foremost, the customer support. I don't know how you're so readily available to me as often as I, have some big, bright idea that I need to implement, because I'm sure there's other people that are behaving the same way. So first and foremost, and it's always this with me, it's a matter of customer service and personalized care. Because in a world of technology, when you remove the human aspect, it gets really cold. I don't care how streamlined it will make me. If it's cold on the other end, and I can name I won't name a web host, but gosh, boy, do they make a beautiful website. But I'm leaving as soon as possible because the customer service is painful.
Yeah.
And I'm often gracious for the customer service that I receive from HomeStack, but I'm reminded every time you respond to my email within 2 minutes or get me on your calendar the very next day. Like I still have no idea how you do that. So kudos.
I don't either.
I would say that my app is never, I'm sure there's difficulties with technology in the app like there is with everything, but to my knowledge, the app has, when I've needed it, it's never been down. My clients I've never had someone message me and say, my search isn't working.
Yeah.
I can plug in all of this hyper local information to my app. And that is the most important thing to illustrate value to a client in this market. And being able to showcase that in something that is easy to say, oh, here's my QR code. You can have this app. No one's going to bug you. Have at it. We'll automate your search. But
and that's different, right? Not everybody's doing that. Not everybody's offering that to somebody.
And it can't be a hard sell. This is a hard market, but it can't be a hard sell. The only way that I recommend getting through to a client and hopefully converting a conversation to a relationship and eventually a contract is to give and give and give value. And there's only so much time in a day, right? So my app will give and give and give value all day long while I'm sleeping. It's great. What more could I ask for?
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for hopping on with us today. This has been really great. And I think it's going to help some agents out there who, sometimes might be a little bit intimidated to start using technology or embrace it. But, like I said, you've always been ahead of the curve with that and had the foresight to see that's where things were going even back in 2017. And now it's here, whether you like it or not.
I haven't always made the right choice when it comes to tools, but you got to kiss a lot of frogs, and this was probably the one and only thing in my business that I didn't have to go through 2 or 3 different iterations with other companies to get it right.
Yeah, I think HomeStack turned into your Prince Charming.
My Princess Charming. And I don't know if this is appropriate or whatever, but I love collaborating so much, and I love taking the guesswork out so much. So whenever or however it's appropriate, even if it's like my Google number, anyone that's curious, whether they're in Austin or wherever, feel free to text me. I'm much better by text than email, believe me. I would be more than happy to tell anyone and have a conversation with anyone about, where I went wrong, where I went right, what I wish I would have done sooner on my app, because everything's a work in progress. And I mean, as you know, I've got new strategy that I want to deploy as soon as possible that, with all of this cool go high level and growth suite stuff. So
I think like the bottom line is like, you can't ever stop, right? You can't just become complacent, because everything's constantly evolving in this business. It's like the oldest business, but it's constantly changing and evolving because it's like market driven, right? So, and with the technology, you just got to keep going.
Don't do it all. Just do the one thing and get it working for you. And I, not that you had me on here to say this, but I guarantee if you do it right with this app, it will 1,000% change your experience at open houses. If I just had to say one little thing, you know what I'm saying? It's great for this big, super expensive page in my reload guide. And that's been amazing, incredible. I probably have just driven, I don't know, maybe 200 users to the app in the last couple of years, just by having that one page in there.
Yeah.
I mean, return on investment's crazy, right? I mean, it's $2,500 page. I've got 200 new users that could translate into 3 or 4 closings. And now I've made, $40,000 because we got them over to the app without even trying. But
that's an ROI.
If you don't want to go out and pay a bunch of money because you're new to the business, I mean, and I'm very sparing with what, I choose to do, but it is, this is a really easy way to insert, however they leverage it. You could have this at no cost, depending on how you align yourself with your vendors so everyone can win on the app. And, just don't overthink it and stay focused, and you'd be amazed at how quickly you could get traction with this app.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, get your lender in there, get your electrician, your vendors. They will pay to be your trusted vendors in the app, and then it's your neighborhood guide, it's your preferred vendor guide.
Well, and not to mention, like with the lender, like we're pushing out rate updates. I get rate updates every Friday from 20 different lenders.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't our consumers get, or our the app users, why shouldn't they get similar information?
Yeah, people are really on the edge of their seats about the interest rates. I mean, that is like such a hot topic that everybody just wants to know about constantly.
Yeah, and we're going to answer their question before they ask it. And if it doesn't make sense, then they know where to find us.
And it's a touch point. It's a touch point. Yeah, I love that. Michelle, where can everyone follow you, find you? Like you were saying, Instagram, social media stuff. Where can we follow along and get in touch?
I am pretty much strictly an Instagram user, and I'm at home, not homes, home by Hendrix.atx.
Okay, we'll link everything too when we post over to you, so everyone can follow.
That's where I live. Yeah.
It's so visual, right?
Yeah. And HendrixResidentialGroup.com, where you can, of course, take a shortcut to download Austin Homes for Sale in the App Store.
Yes, I love it. Thanks for taking the time. And if anyone has any questions, reach out to us, reach out to Michelle. Like she said, she'd love to answer any of your questions. And thanks for hanging out today.
Thank you so much, Rachel. It's been so fun.